You know what flies missions the A400M won't touch? This thing. First flight? 1954. Eisenhower was president, and NATO commanders in 2025 still pick it over jets that cost 3 times as much and fly twice as fast. So here's the question nobody wants to answer. If we had the A400M, the C-17, and the shiny new C-390, why are we still building more of these? I spent 20 years around military airlift. The answer isn't what the brochures say. And if you ever loaded one, flew one, or watched one land on a dirt strip at night, you already know the defense contractors are lying. It's not about nostalgia, it's about physics, money, and one uncomfortable truth. Let's go. Look, I know what you're thinking. We've got the A400M with its fancy European engineering, the C-17 that can haul a battle tank, Brazil's shiny new C-390 that flies faster and burns less fuel. So why does NATO keep dumping 21st century avionics into a 1950s airframe? We're going to talk shop, payload classes, STOL performance, sortie rates, the stuff that actually matters when the shooting starts, not what looks good in a PowerPoint. 3 things. What the Hercules does that its replacements can't. The brutal economics nobody wants to admit. And why good enough and everywhere beats perfect but rare. Real quick, how many of you flew on, loaded, or watched these birds operate? Because if you have, you already know where this is going. Drop your stories in the comments. Here's the mission nobody talks about. 2A ENSMA contested airspace. You need 20 tons of ammunition on a partially bombed out strip before sunrise, or the operation fails. The A400M needs 3,000 feet of prepared runway. Can't do it. The C-17? Same problem. The Hercules? Lands on dirt, gravel, half-destroyed pavement. At night. In weather that grounds everything else. Why? 4 turboprops. Low-speed handling. Short-field performance jets can't touch. Think of it like this. The fancy jets are sports cars. Fast, powerful, but they need a highway. The Hercules, it's a pickup truck. It goes where the road ends. 70 variants: gunship, tanker, hurricane hunter, medevac, firefighting, special ops platform. If it needs to fly low, slow, and dirty, there's a Hercules for it. Right now, NATO's testing fighters operating from highway strips. Who brings the fuel and weapons? Not the A400M, it needs an actual airport. Here's what they won't tell you. The A400M carries more. The C-17 flies faster. But when commanders need something delivered at 2 a.m. on a half-repaired runway in bad weather, they don't call the showroom models. 540 C-130Js delivered, 3 million flight hours. Still handles 90% of NATO's tactical airlift. It gets dirty so the strategic jets don't have to. But capability, that's only half the story. Let's talk about the thing that actually keeps it flying, and it's not what you think. Money. The A400M development. 9 years late, budget overruns in the billions. Still working out problems. The C-17? Production ended in 2015. What's left costs a fortune per flight hour. Brazil's C-390? Fast and efficient. But tiny operator base means almost no parts or training support. Here's what that actually means. A C-130 breaks down in Poland at 0600. Parts arrive from 3 countries by morning. You're flying by lunch. An A400M breaks, you wait and wait and wait. 60 nations, 2,500 aircraft, 70 years of spare parts, training systems, maintenance know-how. Want a number that'll blow your mind? There are more C-130s in service today than all other Western tactical transports combined. More than the A400M, more than what's left of the C-17 fleet. More than the C-390. All of them, together. And NATO still says it's not enough Hercules. Think of it like this. The C-130 is like driving a Ford pickup. Break down anywhere? Someone's got the part. The new jets? Italian sports car. Fast, beautiful, but good luck finding a mechanic in Montana. Here's the dirty secret. Sometimes the biggest risk isn't keeping an old design. It's trusting something new that hasn't been shot at yet. NATO doesn't need to bet everything on one new platform when the old bird keeps accepting upgrades. New avionics, new engines, new mission systems, same trusted frame. So, we've got capability, we've got economics. But there's one more reason NATO can't quit the Hercules. And this one? Nobody wants to say it out loud. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Europeans want the A400. Jobs, sovereignty, national pride. Brazil pushes the C-390. Export sales. The US backs the C-130 and what's left of the C-17 fleet. Every nation has an agenda. So why does everyone, all of them, still fly the Hercules? Because interoperability isn't a buzzword, it's logistics. Land at any NATO base. 90% chance they can service your C-130 parts. Mechanics, know-how. Try that with a C-390. Think of it like cell phone chargers. Everyone used to have different ones. Nightmare. Now, USB-C everywhere works anywhere. EI Hercules is NATO's USB-C. Commanders don't care about brochures. They ask 3 questions. Can it take the payload? Can it land there? Will it be ready tomorrow? The C-130 might not win on any single metric, but it's good enough on all of them, and that's what matters in war. Here's the uncomfortable truth. NATO didn't keep the C-130 because they couldn't replace it. They kept it because nothing else could do its job at its cost and its numbers. The replacements? They're additions, not replacements. Sweden finally moved off the Hercules after decades. Big headlines, national news. Meanwhile, the rest of NATO, 22 other members, just ordered more C-130s. That tells you everything. So what does 70 years of dominance actually mean? 70 years in continuous combat service. 2,700 built. Still in production. Still getting ordered. Still flying the missions nobody else will touch. The Hercules isn't flying because of tradition. It's flying because nothing has proven it can do the job better at the price that matters. At the start, I asked how many of you flew on one, loaded one, watched one operate. The reason you remember it? Because it never let you down. Not once. And neither will the next generation. If you want more stories about the aircraft that refused to die, hit subscribe. Until next time, keep 'em flying.